Hello everyone and welcome back. A new format here on these videos. My webmaster has told me to turn my phone around, so if you like this, let me know. If you don't, tell me that too. In any event, in this video, I'm going to talk about Marchman acting somebody who has been Baker acted. So can we Marchman act somebody who is currently in a Baker Act receiving facility? So let me give you some of the facts. I like to talk about real cases as opposed to hypotheticals and the law, which you can read online just as well as I can. So I had a call from a father who has a 30-year-old son who has a history of substance use, specifically marijuana. And as you have heard me say in other videos, the marijuana of today, 2024, is significantly more powerful than the marijuana that I grew up with in the 80s. And so this young man has a history of marijuana use. It's caused some paranoia, some delusions. He basically cannot hold down a job, cannot function. And in this particular occasion, he just basically became completely out of control. And law enforcement got called and he had to be Baker acted. And the family called us and said, hey, we want to get him help. Because we saw some of your videos online and we understand that once someone's Baker acted, now they become a ward of the state of Florida. And as a result, the facility doesn't even want to talk to us. And we're really, really worried he might get stuck. So can we file a Marchman Act? And the long and short of it is, yes, you can file a Marchman Act. Now is the time to do it, actually. Even when we're dealing with a strictly Baker Act case, I'm a big proponent that the time to fight is right now. I don't want to be in a position where the facility, which is an agent, a licensed agent of the state's mental health system, goes and files a petition, gets a court order, and this young man is potentially sent to either a state hospital or he's kept for a significant period of time in this particular facility. So this is the time to do it, because once a judge issues a court order in that Baker Act, if we get that far, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to unring that bell. I got to go back into Baker Act court, potentially get the Baker Act judge to vacate the order while I'm also in Marchman court. It just becomes a convoluted, difficult mess. So now's the time to do it. So we're going to file this Marchman Act, and what I've already done is, because we do so many of these Baker Acts, and as I've told you before, the Marchman Act, the guardianship, the Baker Act, they all work together. They're all part of this framework, this legal framework that is used to basically involuntarily commit somebody, whether it's in a Baker Act facility or a mental health facility or a substance use facility, which is why I say to you, when you have to, when you do this kind of work, you got to understand how these three things work together. So long and short of it is, we're actually working on this Marchman Act case right now. I've already reached out to the Baker Act facility and said, hey, just so you know, we're out here and we are filing a Marchman Act. We're going to get this person some help. So please don't file something just yet, because we're going to take a different path. We're going to address this issue. I also, quite frankly, am concerned because this individual, this young man, is still clearly paranoid and delusional. I'm also concerned that they might make the decision to let him go. Now, I'm a big fan of getting people out. But when the Baker Act is used correctly, it's a very powerful life-saving tool. So I don't necessarily want him out. So, look, there's going to be some maneuvering here to make sure he's there long enough so I can get into court on the Marchman Act and get a court order. And ideally, I'll get a court order that allows us to transfer him from the Baker Act facility into a Marchman Act receiving facility. It's probably going to be a private detox or a private treatment facility that's going to do the assessment for me. But long and short of it is that we're going to intervene in the Baker Act process with a Marchman Act. And so if you have a loved one who has been Baker acted and there is substance use, then yeah, you can intervene in a Marchman Act. But you could also intervene with a guardianship. You could do that too. I was just on the phone actually with a family before I made this video, where it looks like this individual is almost certainly going to get Baker acted. And I cautioned the family and said, just understand that once they're Baker acted, this is the state taking custody of them. They're going to become a temporary ward of the state of Florida. And one of two things are going to happen. Either they get released after 72 hours, which I don't think is going to help based on the history, or they're going to get stuck and this facility is going to file to keep them and potentially send them to a state hospital. Again, I don't think that helps things at all. So the time to do something is now. Let's intervene now. Let's get the state out of the way while we still can before a court orders him detained or he gets released and now he's into the wind doing God only knows what. So I want to share that with you. And if you're a family out there who needs help, please reach out to us. As my webmaster has reminded me, please like this video if you like it and subscribe to the channel so you can get more of these videos, which I love to do. And I really want to make sure you guys get this information that you need so you can decide if you want to talk to us. Anyway, with that said, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.